Okay, we're up to problem number 13 now. And you can read along with me here. A farmer plans to create a rectangular garden that he will enclose with chicken wire. So we've got a rectangular garden. And can be no more than 30 feet wide. So the width has to be less than or equal to 30. And he needs to use at most 180 feet of chicken wire. So the perimeter must be less than or equal to 180. Write a system of linear inequalities that models this situation and then graph. Okay, so we're going to have to graph. I'm just going to pull out a grid that does not have the XY because we're only going to need positive numbers. So this is quadrant 1, right? So if this is the y-axis here, and this is the x-axis down here, we're just going to use quadrant 1 because we're not going to deal in negative lengths. So we can say, we'll call this the width. Instead of x, we'll call it w, and then this can be the length. So instead of y, we can call it L. And, so the width has to be less than or equal to 30. So my two equations are going to be width less than or equal to 30, and perimeter, so 2L plus 2W less than or equal to 180. So I got to figure out what kind of scale I should use. So I need to get up to, oh geez, if that's 0, that would be 90. Okay, so I'm going to have to go up to 90 here. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Okay, so each 2 will go by 10. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Alright, to save time, I'm going 20, 40, to 4, 60, 80. There we go. Okay, so the W has to be less than or equal to 30. We'll do that in blue. 30 is here. So that's a solid line going all the way up here. And we're shading here. And then, let's see, rather than solve this, make it slope-intercept, we could easily use standard form and figure out both the intercepts. So if L were 0, then W would have to be 90. So if L is 0, W has to be 90 right here. And if W were 0, L would have to be 90. And that is less than or equal to, so I'm going to connect those. So let's make it solid, and let's make it green. Alright, good. So it goes all the way from here, all the way down here, and it's less than, so we are going to shade this way. All of that. So the intersection of the shaded part is this trapezoid here, including the blue line and including the green line. Alright, so that is the answer for that. Let's move on to 14. 14 says, write a system of equations to model the situation and then solve. A writing workshop enrolls novelists and poets. So we have novelists. Let's say n equals novelists, p equals poets. Novelists and poets in a ratio of 5 to 3. So novelists over poets equals 5 to 3. That is what a ratio means. It's a fraction. And there are 24 people. Well, if all of them are novelists and poets, then add them together and they are 24. So here's our two equations, and we can solve by any means necessary. The first thing I'm going to do probably is get rid of these fractions because fractions can be annoying. So I'm going to do cross products. So 5p is going to equal 3n. And now I'm going to solve for p over here. So I'm going to subtract n. So now I'm going to plug that in over here. So 5 times 24 minus n equals 3n. I'm going to distribute, so I get 120 minus 5n equals 3n. I'm going to get the n's to the same side, so I'm going to add 5n to both sides. Leave me with 8n. I'm going to divide by 8, and I get, let's see, I think 15. Let's see, 15, 80 plus 40. Yes, so n equals 15. If that's the case, I can easily plug in up here and get 15 plus p equals 24. And subtract 15, and I get 9. So I think that there are MNOP. I think there's 15 novelists and 9 poets. Let's double check. 15 over 9 equals 5 over 3. That's correct. And then 15 plus 9 equals 24. So there's my answer. Moving on to number 15. A chemist has one solution containing 30% insecticide, so we have a 30%, and another that's 50%. How much of each solution should the chemist mix to get 200 liters of 42%? Okay, so let's call the 30% solution M and the 50% N. So this is amount of and amount of. Okay, so I know that when I mix them both together, I get 200 liters, because it says right here, 200 liters. And I know that the percentage of, what is this? Insecticide. So I know if I 0.3 times M, so the percent of insecticide times the amount will equal amount of insecticide. So if I get 0.5 n, half of n, 50% of it is insecticide, is going to equal 0.42 times 200. Basically what I'm saying is the amount of insecticide in M and the amount of insecticide in N equals the total amount of insecticide. So I can solve, let's see, first of all I'm going to multiply everything down here by 10 to get rid of the, do I need to do that? Yeah, I'm going to get rid of the decimals here. So here's equation 1, here's equation 2. Equation 2 I'm changing to 30m plus 50n equals 42 times 200. So I just multiplied everything by 10. Just kidding, 100. I multiplied everything by 100 to move the decimal over twice. 30, 50, and 42. Okay, now with equation 1, I guess I could multiply everything by negative 30, and that would allow me to have opposite coefficients here. So I can have negative 30m minus 30n equals negative something big. So let's see, 200 times 30 would be 6000, I think. Yeah. Now I can add these together, and I get 20n equals, it's 42 times 200. It is 8,200. So that was 8,200 minus 6,000, so 2,200. Divide that by 20, and I get what? Let's see if I divide by 10. That divide by 2, so I think it's 110. Yeah. Okay, so if that's 110, then M must be 90. So in alphabetical order, I have 90, 110. Let's see if that makes sense. 30% of 90 would be 27, and then half of 110 would be 55. So 55 plus 27 would equal 82 liters of pesticide, right? Is that right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 82. And 42% of 200 would be 84. I'm off by a little bit here. So what did I do? 1927 55, 110, 70, 82. Oh, that's what I did. Okay. All right, so my mistake was 42 times 200 is going to be 840, not 8200. So that makes this a 4, and that makes this a 120, which would make this a 60. Okay. So we have 60 plus 27 is okay. Sorry, this is taking a while, but I figured out what all happened here. So I'm just going to erase. So we are pretty correct. We were close. So n equals 120, which would make m equal to 80. So we have 80, 120. Okay, which 30% of 80 is 24, plus 60, so 84. So this is correct, because 80 plus 120 adds to 200, and 24 plus 60 equals 84, which is 42% of 200. So this is the answer. Alright, sorry that took so long. But sometimes we gotta fight through some mistakes. That's just how it is. Alright, moving along. On to number 16. Write a system of two linear equations that has no solution. Well, y equals 2x plus 3 and y equals 2x plus 2, because they have the same slope, so they will never intersect. That means no solution. Alright, number 17 is an error analysis, so let me write down what they have written. They have -2 less than 3 times -1 plus 2, and -2 is less than -1. Okay, so what they're doing is trying to decide if this inequality is a solution to this, or sorry, this ordered pair is a solution to this inequality. The mistake is that they plugged in -2 for y, but it should have been -1. They should have plugged it in the other way around. So it should be, so although this seems like it is true, they should have said -1 is less than 3 times -2 plus 2, which would be -1 is less than -6 plus 2, which is -1 is less than -4, which is not correct. So this is not a solution, but they thought it was. Next one, number 18. Consider a system of two linear equations in two variables. If the graphs of the equations are not the same line, is it possible for the systems to have infinitely many solutions? The answer is no, because the lines either intersect for one solution, are parallel for no solutions, or they are the same line for infinitely many solutions. Those are the only three choices, so the answer is no. And finally, number 19. Oh, actually, there's three more. Suppose you add two linear equations and you get the result below. How many solutions? Okay, well, if you get x equals 8, that is one solution, because then you'll solve for y. If you get 0 equals 4, that is no solution, because when you get a not true statement, it's no solution. And if you get 0 equals 0, that is infinitely many solutions, or also known as identity, because when you get a true statement, it will be infinite solutions. And that's it. Thanks for watching.